Very good afternoon, children. This is L. K. Tripathi from Lakshmi Prasad Memorial Public School, Gola Bazar. My dear students, today we have to discuss about the formation of the Muslim League. Let's get started. Another major development during the first decade of the 20th century was the formation of the Muslim League. The leader of this league was Shamiullah Khan, who founded this league in 1906. He was a landlord and Nawab. This party was established in Dhaka, which was the part of India those days. It became separate after partition of Pakistan, as well as again it became a different nation from Pakistan as Bangladesh. The leader of the Muslim League felt that Muslims might not be adequately represented in the government in the face of a large Hindu majority. He thought that Muslims are not getting a respectable place in the society. Only Hindu majority is dominating the power. They supported the partition of Bengal and later appealed to the Viceroy, Lord Minto, for separate electorates in which the Muslim voters would elect only Muslims. During the partition of Bengal, they supported the partition of Bengal and demanded from the Viceroy, the then Viceroy Lord Minto, to keep separate electorates in which only Muslim voters could participate and could elect only Muslims. Means no other caste people should participate or should be elected as the member of the state or any legislative affairs. The British used this unity to their advantage. Just British got an opportunity to differentiate the people on the ground of caste and community. They followed a two-pronged policy of appeasing the moderates and deterring the radicals through repressive measures. Tilak and many other radical leaders were arrested and imprisoned. Many of the Indian leaders were arrested just against opposing the partition of Bengal, and they were sentenced to jail. Various restrictions were imposed on the press. Public meetings were banned. Second, that is Morley-Minto reforms. What was Morley-Minto reforms? To please the moderates and to win over the Muslims, the government passed the Government of India Act of 1909. Just to make happy the moderates and to win their credit over the Muslims, the British government brought an act in the form of Government of India Act of 1909, also known as the Marley-Minto Reforms, which is known as the Marley-Minto Reforms. Legislative councils were reorganized and a system of indirect elections was introduced for the first time. But a very limited number of voters could vote. Most importantly, separate electorates were allocated to Muslims, that is, some seats were reserved for Muslims and only they could stand for elections or vote from there. This was done in the name of protecting the Muslim minority. However, this act made no reference to representative government. Next, that is revolutionary, terrorists, and the Indian national movement. Many people within the national movement express dissatisfaction with the methods of Swadeshi and boycott. They wanted to go to a step further and advocated the use of violence and terror to overthrow the British. Their aim was to use force, violence, and terror to get rid of British rule from India. Soon, many secret societies of the revolutionary youth came into existence. The most famous among them were Abhinav Bharat Society in Maharashtra and Anushilan Samiti in Bengal. Vedi Savarkar, Ajit Singh, Madam Bhikhaji Kama, and Lala Hardayal were some prominent leaders of revolutionary groups. Some of the revolutionaries even started organizations outside India. An extremely active organization was the Gadar Party, which operated mostly in Canada and United States. It sent arms and revolutionaries to India. This party organized and planned a revolution in India, but the British had prior information and the leaders were arrested and confined. Next, that is mass phase of the Indian national movement. Let's discuss this topic also. The national movement entered its mass phase from about the 1920s, as virtually all sections of society, including peasants, tribal groups, students, women, the middle class, workers, industrialists, and even soldiers gradually came together to British rule. Among several factors responsible for this transformation, the most important was the arrival of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, better known as Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi and the national movement. Now the next step starts frequently when Mahatma Gandhi stepped down in this freedom movement. Gandhiji arrived in India in 1915. It was largely due to him that the national movement turned into a genuine mass movement. Before coming to India, he had practiced law for about 20 years in South Africa. There he struggled to improve the conditions of Indians treated sadly by the racist white regime. To achieve the ends of this struggle, he evolved the technique of satyagraha or peaceful non-violence agitation. In India, he spent his first few years traveling all over the country. He established the Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad. Gandhiji organized successful satyagraha campaigns in support of the indigo cultivators of Champaran. The mill workers of Ahmedabad and the peasants of Kheda. He got great support from the common people. Key features of Gandhiji's anti-colonial struggle. Key features क्या थे? Satyagraha was a novel method of protest based on the ideal of truth and non-violence. According to Gandhiji, it is not the physical force but the moral force that can make a satyagrahi winner in the battle against an oppressive and unjust regime. Peaceful non-cooperation was another important means of protest against British injustice. In his opinion, the British could not stay in India if Indians stopped cooperating with the government. Gandhiji said that Hindu-Muslim unity was essential for Indian to attain freedom. He supported the Khilafat movement among the Muslims of India in support of the Turkish Khilafat. Gandhiji also insisted that social reforms be made a part of the freedom struggle. He led a crusade to root out social evils like untouchability, following the fundamental ideas of the Swadeshi movement. Gandhiji initiated a constructive program for the economic upliftment of Indian villages. He believed that he believed that khadi would make the poor self-reliant. An All India Spinners Association was set up and Khaddar bhandars were set up in different parts of the country. The Rowlatt Act and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. The Rowlatt Act of 1919 gave wide powers to the government to suppress Indian nationalists. The government could now arrest, imprison any person for an indefinite period without any trial. People strongly opposed this act. On 6th April 1919, Gandhiji launched an anti-Rowlatt Satyagraha and asked everyone to oppose the act in a non-violent manner through marches, assemblies, hartal, etc. This act was an inhumanitarian act for the Indians, means totally unjust with the Indians, so they will be proved guilty without any trial, and to whom the British will want to make prisoner, they can prison and they can be proved as guilty. So Gandhiji refused and created unsatisfaction related to this act and called all the people of the nation to oppose this act. As a result, people oppose this act through satyagraha and in non-violent method in all over the country. They marched, assembled everywhere, also created hartals, protested. On 13 April 1919, the people of Amritsar held a meeting at Jallianwala Bagh to protest the act, oppose the act. What happened in Jallianwala Bagh massacre, you know very well, but once again we shall discuss about that in coming topic. Till then, goodbye.